So, there's been a lot of talk about what features people want to see when 2042 is finally released, especially what will be available to us, the players, at launch. I've got a lot of ideas about specific features I want to see, but I also wanted to bring attention to one in particular which I've been thinking a lot about recently. That is the hardcore server option, and the general type of gameplay experience that can provide. For those of you who don't know or don't really play hardcore in Battlefield, here's a quick rundown of the actual gameplay and the actual experience for you in terms of the effect it has on the game. Every player is dropped to 60% health rather than the standard 100, but guns do the same damage in the core modes. But obviously with less health per player, the TTK or the time to kill is much higher if you hit your shots. Health generally doesn't regen unless you have a medkit nearby as well, and team killing / friendly fire is enabled, so you'd best watch where rockets and grenades are heading. There's the removal of the HUD in most of the game modes, things like the ammo counter, minimap and grenade counter as well. It also stops players from driving vehicles in third person too. From iteration to iteration, there have been smaller changes to the hardcore experience over time, but these I mentioned have been pretty consistent throughout all of the games since Bad Company 2. Now, what's my experience been like in hardcore? Giving you the rundown, this kind of brings me nicely onto where I really enjoyed the hardcore experience in the Battlefield franchise, which funnily enough was Bad Company 2. Many of you know this, but this is where I've got fully into the franchise as a whole. But I'll be honest, I probably spent more time playing hardcore than I did in core modes at the time of Bad Company 2. To be fair, I struggled with the time to kill in Bad Company 2. I'd come from a Call of Duty background, and so initially getting into Bad Company 2, I struggled with the time it took to take down enemy players. Instead, I moved into the hardcore experience to speed this up. However, looking at the game now, I understand that the combination of the movement and weapon mechanics suited this longer TTK. I was just a very impatient kid who was obsessed with the kind of run and gun nature of other FPS games, and so wanted that mixed with the standard Battlefield experience like destructibility and big open battles. Following Bad Company 2 though, I've never really spent much time in hardcore since. I occasionally jump into a server on Battlefield 4 if I see it and have what it takes, but I think for the most part, core modes in the more recently released games are perfect for me. But should hardcore be available on release of 2042 though? I think hardcore needs to be available to play when 2042 releases. Firstly, the hardcore mode itself does have a core following of players who consistently play it every release. I remember the pushback that I received when hardcore wasn't included with Battlefield 1 on release, and then that was reverted on November the 16th, 2016, after the game had actually been out for nearly a month, just because people were clamouring to get into a hardcore mode. With that in mind, I think it would be a misstep from DICE to not bring a set of hardcore servers or server options for the game as it releases, but it also raises a number of questions around how DICE intend to run their own servers for the game. Will we see DICE run hardcore servers along with vanilla servers as well? Will we have the option to set up community servers from release to run these hardcore mode settings rather than on DICE servers? And if we do see hardcore servers, how many will we have per continent? Will it be enough to handle the actual demand for hardcore? These are all pretty valid questions, and I think a lot of the community, particularly those who are playing hardcore, are going to be asking of DICE. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes of that. I still don't see hardcore Battlefield being a particularly massive portion of the community, even when we get into BF 2042, but it would be good just to make sure that DICE are not alienating a pillar of the wider Battlefield community from the outset of the game as well. I've got to be honest, I probably won't be touching hardcore that much in 2042. I imagine the time to kill is going to be something similar to Battlefield 5, and core Battlefield 5 is absolutely fine for me. But let me know down below if you are a hardcore player, or you want to see hardcore gameplay from me. Could be a little something to dabble in, who knows. As always though, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for your time. Look forward to more Battlefield content on the channel. I am getting back into the swing of things again. I'm sorry I missed last week, I know, my bad, but we are going to get back on the train. I've already planned my content for an entire month. So let's get out there, let's get after it, and I'll catch you all in the next one.